What's up, everybody? So I've been thinking about doing a video on myths involving preparedness, survival, and guns for a while. So in this video, I'm going to go over 10 myths that you will hear about, but what to stay away from. This is something that goes along with basic wives' tales and things that you should know if you want to survive. Also, I wanted to touch base on thank you everyone that has helped build this channel to what it is today. We are up to 3,000 subs, which is awesome since I started it about 3 months ago. So I wanted to thank you everyone for subbing to the channel. It helps me out a lot and gives me the ability to show more fun stuff in the future, which I'm really excited about. So let's start it off with myth number 1, and that is going to be you could find your direction based on moss growing on the north side of a tree. Now, I've heard this my whole life and actually believed it for a very long time. Now, the biggest thing to think about is this all completely depends on the sunlight, the moisture, and where you're located. This completely makes it unreliable. You cannot judge direction by moss alone. So just don't do it. Best thing you can do is carry a compass. Mostly every phone nowadays has a compass, but don't rely on that, it could die. So carry around a compass or be able to use things that are proven 100%, which is going to be the stars or the sun. Myth number 2 is going to be something that I also believed, and that you could suck out snake venom. I'm sure everyone has seen a video of someone trying to suck out snake venom whenever they first got bit, and we've seen shows on this. We've seen it in movies, and of course, you have to believe everything in the movies, right? No, because it's false. So whenever you're trying to suck out snake venom, if you have that Guac Guac 5000 and you have the ability to suck that hard, you're actually damaging that wound even more. So it's better just to keep the to yourself. Now the best response to this is going to be immobilize the wound. Keep it below heart level, and also seek medical attention so you could get the help that you need to be able to survive, especially if it's a rattlesnake and you need anti-venom. All of those things are really important to survival, and you don't want to die because of a snake bite or because your buddy tried to suck out venom and caused more damage. It's just not a good look and will be a very depressing funeral. Number 3 is something that we've all done in our childhood, and that is going to be eating snow. Does it hydrate you? I've heard for a very long time that snow, obviously turns to water, but can it actually effectively hydrate you? That's going to be a no, because eating snow actually cools your body, which in turn can speed up hypothermia in cold locations, which is obviously what you're trying to prevent. So it's always going to be better to make a fire. Not only does the fire keep you warm, you could also melt your snow to turn into water to drink. It will also help keep you warm and stop you from becoming hypothermic and dying. On to our next one. You could survive in the wild with just a knife. And now this is something that I've done, and it was absolutely terrible. Would not recommend it. And this is also a video I'd like to do in the future, showing you how you could possibly survive in the wild with just a knife. But it's not going to be something for everyone, and here's why. A knife is very useful, but by far the best preparation to surviving in the wild is going to be knowledge along with preparation. And no, I'm not talking about preparation H, I'm talking about the things that you use to be able to provide yourself an easier way of survival. So those are going to be things like fire starting tools. If you've never started a fire without a fire starter, without a lighter, without a ferro rod, your hands are going to hurt. Rubbing 2 sticks together sucks, and you could do it for hours and hours, and if there's humidity in the air and not the perfect kind of environment, it's not going to happen. And then you die. Other thing is going to be water purification. How are you going to purify your water if you only have a knife? And also preparing a shelter. So the basic things you need to think about is food, water, shelter, fire. So those are the 4 things, if I was going out in the wild, that I would recommend having at all times. Something that you could purify your water in, like a canteen or something that's made out of metal to be able to heat it up over a fire, so you don't blow your guts out every single night and you could stay hydrated. Myth number 5 that I actually heard the other day is going to be, if you see animals eating berries, it's going to be safe for you. The thing you need to think about is animals metabolize things differently than humans. So what's safe for them could be very toxic to us. Instead, start practicing. Get a couple books and be able to understand at least the plants that are in your local area that you can eat and be able to identify easily. Even if you have a few of these that grow in your area, you'll be able to know them right off the bat and be able to survive off of that. Also, learn a few edible plants to avoid in your local area. And if you are stuck in a situation and you absolutely don't know, there's the ability to rub it on your skin, see if there's any effects. Then you could touch it to your lips, not putting it in your mouth, seeing if there's any swelling or any numbness. Then you could put a little piece in your mouth, try the very small amount, wait 15 minutes to 30 minutes to see if there's any effects, you throwing up, getting diarrhea. Then you could try one, and then from there, that's a natural process of being able to understand if you're able to eat it or not. But I still wouldn't recommend it. Just do your research and understand these things before you're put in the situation that it could harm you. I don't know what number we're on, but the next one's going to be drinking your urine can hydrate you. Now, this is something that I've never done and I never will do. Well, why, you ask? Because urine is mostly water, but it also contains a ton of stuff that your body doesn't want. So all those waste products that your body's pushing out can actually dehydrate you more. If you're in desperate needs, work on finding other water sources instead of dehydrating yourself more, drinking your own piss. Because that's gross, and no one wants to be like, hey, I survived because I drank my own piss. Because it's a lie. Number 7, we're going to get into a couple gun things. So let's go into guns will go off if you drop them. And I am 1000% a person that knows this because I have dropped, fell with pretty much all of my firearms at one period of time. I actually fell off a 20-foot cliff at one period of time with my AR and it broke apart because of the impact. It was in the middle of the night and I was running and then there just wasn't ground anymore. So, did my AR go off? No. Unless you have a SIG, then you should be safe. Or also if you have any firearms that are older and don't have necessary safety requirements for it not to go off during a drop. And I know, SIG resolved the issue, I get it, but it still happened. As always, you still need to emphasize gun safety so that way you never have an issue to where you are following with your firearms, but if you do, you should be okay. Number 8, hollow points are only for stopping power. So why do you carry a hollow point? If it is just for stopping power, that's awesome, but there's still some more useful information out there of why to use them. So, hollow points expand when hitting a target. Therefore, it's going to limit the penetration power and also help out with you not hitting any pedestrians behind your target. So they're used mostly for self-defense for that reason, not just for stopping power. This makes hollow points way more safe to use in a survival situation if you're in your home or out in public and someone pulls a gun on you. You don't want to use full metal jacket. It goes straight through them and goes into the local businesses behind. So I use these not for stopping power, but because they stop. Number 9 is going to be smaller caliber firearms are just as good in a self-defense situation. Now, I'm a firm believer that having anything is better than nothing, but this is false. So if you're going against an attacker with a .22 caliber bullet to where they say it bounces around in your body and all those things, that's great. That's super cool. But if you got shot with a .22, you're still going to have the ability to keep moving. There's people that take in 7 9mm rounds and are still moving. So I'm not going to fully put my life in the hands of a .22. Now, 9mm is a very effective round, especially if you're using hollow points, but I always love a good slug from a shotgun to get the job done. Also, if you are getting a self-defense firearm or a home defense firearm, make sure you do the appropriate training. If you think you're going to be able to just grab that firearm in a heightened situation to where your adrenaline's kicking, you're probably not going to be able to hit the broadside of a barn. So practice with these things. So that way, whenever you do need it, it is second nature. You know exactly how to pull it, what to do, safety off, pull the trigger, safety back on if the suspect is down, and then go on with your daily life of talking with police officers for quite a long time because someone decided to break into your house and now you have to explain why they're unalive. And thank you guys so much for sticking around till number 10. Before we get into that, I'd like to express my thanks for everyone that is subbed to the channel and giving me the ability to do this fun stuff all the time. Now, if you are not subbed to the channel yet, I greatly appreciate it if you hit the sub, give me a thumbs up, or leave me a comment saying I look like a felon and how I own firearms. That's completely cool too. Doesn't affect me at all. Because maybe I am. Maybe I can't. Maybe they're all airsoft rifles. It's possible. And for number 10 is you only need one firearm for everything. Now, if you are a part of the channel, you understand that I have plenty of different firearms to choose from 22s, 5.56, 300 blackout to 308, and a ton different more. But you should definitely have a few firearms. No single firearm is suited for all purposes. So as a rule of thumb, I would highly recommend everyone to have a pistol. Next thing for you to have is going to be a rifle of sorts. So a hunting rifle. It doesn't have to be an AR platform, even though I really do like an AR platform. Doesn't have to be. And also a shotgun. So you have something specifically set up for different kind of environments and doing different things. You could hunt for food if you need to. Going after flying things, you could use the shotgun, and pistols are going to be that go-to thing for self-defense on the go. So different guns are for different things. So having them is going to be important. You're not going to be able to carry around your hunting rifle every single day for self-defense. So get yourself a cheap pistol. You could pick one up for about $500, going to be beneficial for your preparedness and also your survival. And not only do you need these 3 firearms, you need to practice with them all the time. I cannot stress enough that whenever you go to use one of these, if you don't practice, you're going to be terrible. Over the past year, I have really stressed to myself the importance of understanding how to use these effectively. So not only have I gone to courses, but I've really been practicing every chance I get. So about 5 times a week, I'm going to be shooting either my pistol, my AR, my shotgun, to be able to be more proficient in these things going forward. Because there was a very long time that I didn't have the ability to go practice. I didn't have the ableness to just walk outside and shoot at a target because I was living in the city. So having the ability now, I'm going to use that all that I can to get better and be able to protect myself and my family and someone else that is in danger and needs help if need be. Now, if you don't have the ability to go outside, they also make little laser aim sights. So when you hit the trigger, it blinks for a quick second. You could get those to be able to practice dry firing. It's not going to help you with the actual concussion and the kick of your firearm, but it will help you be able to effectively draw, shoot, pull the trigger, and be able to see where that round would go. So that is one great idea for someone that's just first getting into shooting firearms, doesn't live in the country and has the ability to shoot, but you still want to practice. And then make them for different calibers as well. So you could practice in the safety of your own home. Just don't do it without telling your significant other or your wife, or have your kids run around, because it's super awkward. I hope this was a fun video for everyone and you were able to learn something about all of the myths that are out there, because we all know there's tons of myths still flying around, just like the longlegs are the most poisonous spider on the face of the earth. No, that was a wives' tale. It's not true. Look it up. And also the fact that Marilyn Manson had his rib removed so he could be able to suck venom out of his leg if need be. Also false. I don't know where these things came from, but they carried with me for a very long time. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Stop bitching and complaining and start prepping and training. And I'll see you guys in the next one.